All
That was
right,
horrible.
let's do this. As we're gonna need to cover how many topics are in this thing. Let's
The answer
see.
is yes.
The answer is yeah. Okay, let's go. Okay, everybody. Welcome to Granblue Radio number 281. It's June of 2022, and we are here to put to rest one of the gravest mistakes of 2016 in Granblue Fantasy. And if you may remember, 2016 was a year of many mistakes, DJ.
Yeah, that was an era
That was
that I don't want to
definitely,
talk about half the time.
yeah. But anyway, so one of the final pieces of just like they did not think this through has been put to rest. But anyway, this Vibrating Sheep with me is,
And this is DJ.
and we got a whole lot to get through because Choreograph's got a lot. And so, do you want to do characters or do you want to get straight to the elephant in the room?
Let's go characters first
All right,
because
no
that's
Sparkle Pony.
actually in front of us right now.
All right,
Also, I was gonna joke because this character came out in 2016,
at the very end of 2016.
the 12/31 of
Oh
2016.
man, do you remember the number of Irkuns that we all had?
I had 5 in that spark.
Yeah, it was bad. All right, so
It
let's
appeared in the event.
let's go talking about the event. All right, so we got ourselves a UE sis, DJ, and
Yeah.
we were talking. It's like, all right, there's a lot of things that they needed to fix about her, and to their credit, they did not use this 5-star as an opportunity to rebalance. Because people would have been pretty mad if it was like she got one of the 4 rebalance slots and they did another rebalance before 5-star. And,
Mm-hmm.
and instead, they just threw as much as they could within their own restrictions. So let's talk about this. So instead of going level by level, we're gonna go just piece of um, like kit by piece of kit. All right. So step one,
Yeah.
they gave her a new passive that lets her start in Heaven's Bane mode without pressing a button.
Yep, that is her level 90. She has to be in the second or fourth slots in order to do that.
Right, and so they gave her a freaking like Arthur and Mordred or Caterpillar passive, and so she's based on her position in the party. She's either in tank mode or in DPS mode. And so in tank mode, she's when she's in the front line with first or third position, she starts the fight with 3 undying stacks, which is as many as Threo.
Rayo.
Um, when she's in the back line, in the DPS position, then she starts with 2 chivalry, which is something that we noted was a big problem with her. And she starts in Heaven's Bane without pressing a button, which is important for the people who want to full auto.
To note that this passive will not proc if she is in actual back sub slot. She has to start the battle in these slots, these 4 slots. Otherwise, she doesn't get these effects.
Right, so she cannot switch in and expect any of these, which is
Correct.
important because of the things that they did to her. So, all right, so that's um, her new passive. This is really important because of how much chivalry she needed, and how long it used to take to ramp up. So now, if you get her in DPS mode, she starts with 2. All right, next, her CA. Her CA always gave her a single chivalry. So if she's in Heaven's Bane mode and you CA, she goes from 2 to 3. Neat. But also, do you have the other numbers, DJ?
I was about to say always. That was not in 2016.
Yeah.
Anyways,
All right, you're right.
which one are you looking at again?
So let's go talk about her Star Slayer CA first. Skyblade Sunrise.
All right, so Sunrise also gives her let's see here,
Damage
a
absorb.
30% damage absorb for
Mhm.
three turns afterwards. Also, the drain increases from 500 to 1,000.
Yeah. So it's much easier for her to survive in Star Slayer mode, which is important because, like, so her skill 3 never changed. Neither of her skill 3s. So suppression, it's tank and counter, and she gets reduced earth damage. It's kind of meh. Still pretty meh. But this new juiced up skill 2 in Star Slayer mode, DJ.
Steadfast Shield.
Yeah.
All right, so now it no longer consumes her bar, which was my main complaint still from the last time.
Hmm.
The substitute is now an all ally substitute, so even if it hits everybody, all of it will go to her.
And it
And she gets
matters.
Earth Switch.
Yeah. She gets Earth Switch, which matters for her suppression because her suppression specifically lowers Earth damage only. She gets a
Also,
seven.
that
Oh, go
thing
ahead.
lasts 3 turns.
Hmm. She gets debuff immunity on herself. That's fine. Like, there's a lot of debuff immunity that you can have access to in Wind if you want it. Um, but the substitute all matters a lot with her Chivalry passive, or her Blade of Loyalty passive specifically. Which
Since Undying.
So for 3 times, when she presses this button, she won't die from it. Which is important when it comes to anybody who subs all, because when you sub all, a lot of the time, if the character doesn't have any of these passives or a whole lot of cut, they just fall over. They are
Sometimes you're actually just looping. Sometimes.
sometimes, yeah. So, um, yeah, the that's most of what they gave to her in tank mode. The last bit of it is Shining Bloom's Oath, the new skill 4, which says full heal, which matters if she has just used Steadfast Shield and is now at 1 hit point. Remove all debuffs from her, and she gets all of her skills back. So you can give her tanking counter again, you can give her the earth damage, you can give her the earth switch, and bring her back down to low health all over again by subbing all again.
Counter cooldown. That's important because that thing is pretty good actually on both sides.
Yeah. And so this is the play her manually mode, right? And now, in order to actually see what her skills are like in Heaven's Bane mode, we now go to the trial battle and we take a look at what these skills are when she is in the 4th position or presses the button to switch to Heaven's Bane. So,
So, like we said, third skill is still unchanged. Unfettered is still guaranteed DA and 10% uplift. It's
yeah, they listed some of that, and I was just looking at it and going, this is still not a like it's a button that exists technically because you press it to give her chaser, I guess. But like, all right, so we've got ourselves. Let's
what
just
chaser?
wait a second. The chaser comes on her. Where does the
CA
chaser? It comes on her CA. Oh, okay.
and skill 4.
Oh Lord, it's just uplift. Oh God.
I'll let you know. I've seen her TA more than DA in the last team I ran her in, by the way.
Yeah, you used her with Neon. I'm using her in a team that's trying to be a little more self-sufficient, and she DAs a whole lot. Like, but so here's the new Ardent Blade. So um, the sharp boost to caster's attack. This is the attack up and the CA cap up go up on this thing.
Yep, so the attack up, it goes up to 200%, and the C damage cap up goes to 100%. It used to be 150 and 80% before her upgrade.
Yeah. So essentially, it makes it very very easy for her to hard cap now. That
And
she.
speaking of hard cap, she also gets 50% special CA damage cap up.
Mhm. Admittedly, I've only used her in Bennu so far, so I don't know how significant that is to go over the 6.6 million. But with both Seiphon and Aota having the same kind of thing, and Cagliostro having the same kind of thing, given that she's being compared to 2 Transcendent Eternals and a Grand character, that's not so bad. This button
She
is.
also this also just gives her the meter straight up.
Mm-hmm. It used to give her what, 30?
You just give her 30, which
Yeah.
is not great. Now it's
So.
instant charge, and because it's instant charge, if you lower your what's it called, your charge rate for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of reasons, you
She
can
gets it
still CA.
right. And then yeah, that so this thing is that yeah, she when she's in Heaven's Bane, you're probably full autoing it with her. She brings herself up to a full meter on turn 1. She presses this button, which I guess is a thing. She'll have some of her meter back on the next turn, and then she'll multi-attack in order to try and gain more meter. Um, and then her skill 4 in this mode has, what does it have, DJ? It's Chaser.
For 5 turns, it is 50% wind attack up, 50% bonus wind damage. 100% chance of 20% CA, not CA, crits, 20% damage cap up, and you get 2 chivalry.
Yeah. So now she has full 5 chivalry on turn 1 once she's level 100. Like after turn 1, you're just like, yeah. So significantly improved.
Oh, we didn't even talk about her CA yet.
Yeah. Well, the CA in Heaven's Bane. So it gives her how much chaser?
It increases from 20% chaser to 50% chaser.
So she has two 50% chasers after she CAs and has skill forward pressed.
Yep. And
Okay.
then also on top of that, she gets bonus wind damage on her CA depending on her chivalry level, up to 5 hits. When I use this, by the way, in my grid, it is about 3 million damage.
Yeah. So this is turn 1, and I don't have skill 5 yet. So let's take a look. You know, we've got ourselves a Celine CA, which has its own 5 hits. That's going to do 4 million. And then we're going to ignore 7. Well, 7's important here because it raises their cap. But let's take a look at... So that's 1 million for me in this grid. But that's a low chivalry count. Let's do it again. Let's go do this at 5 chivalry, shall we? Alright, let's try this again and see how much it does with 5 chivalry.
Should be like near 2 million? I don't know.
So now everybody has the cap up from my Transcendent Seiphon. So it's 4 million on the Celine with 5 stacks.
It's really good, yeah.
And then here's Skyvane Godslayer. 3 million. That's quite good. Like, it's very good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. As mentioned, the only complaint, skill 3, still still untouched. Those are pretty meh buttons. On the other hand, everything else, literally everything else got better. And yeah, so what you have as the nuke after CA team, it's like Nezha, 9, Elea now, Uisis, Randall, Petra are sort of your go-tos for like doing wind 1-turn kills on Unite and Fight. Monica too, I think. Monica does it.
Yeah, if she gets targeted and dodges.
Hmm.
I don't think Uisis's wind damage comes before the chivalry pops up though.
Yeah, the chivalry should be gained before the nuke.
Just check on it real quick.
Yeah.
Because he actually you'll get 2 chivalry on your thing, so we can just see how many hits it does.
All right, we'll do that again. All right. Boop. 3 chivalry.
So that should do 4 hits or 3 hits.
3 hits. Huh. Gains the chivalry after the hits.
Yeah, that's expected.
Okay. So anyway, vast improvement. So the thing that I can think of is like she is the undying sub-all tank for wind that is for herself, because a lot of wind tanking is either Rosetta or you have Katse or Monkey redirect it to somebody. Um, and she's the one who does it on her own and has Undying to go with it. And when she refreshes her skills, if you really want to, you can also just swap to Heaven's Bane and have her do a burst turn. So that's like there's more play to her than before. Like there's actually, if you're in tank mode, you don't suffer from having pressed tank buttons first if you want to switch into damage mode, because you just say, all right, I'm swapping out, and here we go. there is the it's like I pressed the reset all skills button. Now I can go into Heaven's Bane. Here's my full meter. Here's my multi-attack and uplift, I guess. But here's my full meter, and I can do these things. So, pretty cool stuff.
She outdodges my Seophon recently. Yeah, in Alexial raid, so that was cool.
Nice. So, anything else to say about the UESIS update? It took them 6 years.
She did uncap her own weapon with another weapon.
I'm trying not to think about that part.
That part was dope.
All right. Should we move on to the new characters who came with Premium Gala?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Which one do you want to cover first?
Let's keep on the train, Elea.
All right, Elea. So, number one thing to note about Elea, other than her design, CA, activate heads will roll. One turn cut skill cooldowns. You want to hit these buttons as often as possible.
They're on 7 turn cooldown. They're gonna be lowered.
So heads will roll. Let's talk about Chivalrous Blade versus Inspiring Justice. She also has the either frontline or backline passive. So when she's
not frontline or backline. It's the 1-3 or 2-4.
I'm using this in the Final Fantasy sense of it, where the characters in 1 and 3 are physically in front of the characters in slots 2 and 4.
I never played Final Fantasy.
Right, but you can actually see the party itself where they have a zigzag pattern, and that's from Final Fantasy, where you actually could have people swap between being in front or being in back, and there's like a front position, back position. GBF decided to say screw that, and they just have them physically changed, and there's like 4 characters for which this actually matters, but it's physical position, either toward the front or toward the back, not actually like on the bench at the start of battle. So anyway, when she's first and third, and this doesn't require her to be there at the start, by the way, this can happen with swap in, then she either has supplement CA damage to every wind ally,
100k,
and then the pretty meh damage amp against Earth foes. Like, it doesn't stack with Seraphic or Ultima, so...
I mean, it allows me not to use those in my grid. That's sometimes an option.
It's an option, it's true, but... anyway, so then there's 2 or 4, which makes her CA support in that everybody gets meter at the end of the turn. So anyway, let's go talk about Chivalrous Blade versions of heads will roll. If she is in position 1 or position 3, which means she's going to be in position 3, then this is 8 hits and does 2 stacks of minus attack, minus defense.
And this stacks up to 30%.
And when she CAs, it'll happen twice also. So she'll do 8 hits after her CA. That's Yukata Narmea numbers.
That's pretty good.
That's really good.
Especially in an element that has easy access to supplemental damage for skills.
If she's on Inspiring Justice, it delays. Okay, sure.
I mean, delay on CA. Delay on a button. Pretty good. Delay on CA is actually really good now I think about it.
Because this is one of Wynn's only ways to do this without having the, Carmelina Spear or Maedera Bow on your MC.
So Belial doesn't get angry at you.
Yeah. So she's one of the first ones in Wynn to have this, not counting the main character. Someone saying, DJ, your audio sounds weird. Is that the case for anybody other than Cerulean?
My audio is actually louder than yours, so...
Well, anyway, so... but yeah, heads will roll, centerpiece of her kit, and a very good piece either way. Anyway, Spirited Pep Talk, she gives everybody 30 meter. This is an old standard on a button. They've added new wrinkles to it based on what her position is. So she either gives boost to CA specs along with that.
60% damage, 15% cap.
or she boosts people their gain of meter.
20% for 3 turns.
And because that's for 3 turns, it affects her Inspiring Justice passive, so they'll get 12 meter at the end of every turn from her Inspiring Justice. It's an improved version of this button. This is an old standard button. Like, we've had so many versions of this over the years. Here's the big one. Pledge of Loyalty. Target a wind ally. They get CA reactivate.
That's always good. You can target herself because it didn't say other.
Yeah, and then she can do either 16 hits of damage or double delay with her CA.
That sounds pretty good, huh?
Both of those options are extremely good, depending on how you want to play her. So, you can use her to do what light players have been doing for a while, and there are setups with her and Eternal and Astariola that will 2-chain and kill an EX plus Unite and Fight boss. Alright, so yeah.
Things to note that the supplemental CA damage does not stack with Seaphon.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this character has very clear purposes. Like, there are 2 very, very common fights in the game where she is clearly a strong option. And in any other place in the game, she does perfectly fine. Like, there's there's a lot to work with here, and it's all very good.
Yeah.
Uh,
I like always we have to specify first or third allies always in case A, MC dies, or B, you're doing tower.
mm-hmm. That's true.
Or C, your MC is swapped.
All right. Anything else to say about Elea, or are we moving on to our boy who spent years in SR jail and has been promoted?
She's good. That's all I can say.
Yeah, she's really good.
Go.
Clearly good. All right, here we move on to Jamil, who is less clearly good, and so there's a lot going on here. Some people tried to claim that he's bad. I really don't think he's bad.
To be fair, they did actually you actually can't read a tooltip immediately for one of the debuffs.
Right. Okay. So, what's the centerpiece of his kit? So, step 1. He has low defense, he always multi-attacks, he has passive 30% increase to his charge bar gain, and he starts the fight in hiding, which is essentially that he has as close to 0 hostility as possible.
If someone else can be targeted, they will be targeted instead of him.
Mm-hmm. So it's fairly similar to someone like Yaya or Holiday Nemone.
I also like this note that he actually has 55% base TA.
Mm-hmm. I think it's like 50% and then from the passive and 5% from just
Being
whatever they give him as his character, yeah. But with 30% charged bar gain, then with no other effects other than himself, then at minimum there is a 45% chance that he gains 28 meter from attacking each turn, and a 55% chance that he gains 37 with an extra 30%. That's like 48 meter when he just attacks. And then, if he doesn't take damage, and it's very hard for him to take damage from anything that is not pure AoE, where it hits all characters equally.
Thanks, Belial.
Then he gets 20. Then he gains another 26 on top of that. So, like, average scenario, he double attacks and he doesn't take damage. He gains 54 meter. So every third turn he's going to CA.
And that's not including the fact that he actually has 2 EMPs of charge bar. So that's another 20% speed.
Yeah. So every 2 to 3 turns he's going to CA. So what does this all turn into? So the rest of his kit is based around trying to work around these 2 passives, right? Like, he wants as much meter as possible, and he just never wants to take damage. So here's Exclusion, the other centerpiece of his kit. It's a single hit nuke, which is for the World Ender people of the world, or the Ished, I think it is, the supplemental damage Earth Bow. Um, it's it's not 8 hits. Okay, it's in fact 8 times, not 8 hit. And it goes up to about the third cast goes to 1.16 million damage cap.
That is correct.
So on the third time he presses this button, it will be 1.16 million damage before you do things like skill cap up, etc., etc., etc. And then it will pick from 3 debuffs. The first time you get one of them, the second time you get 2 of them, the third time you get all 3, and from then on you always get all 3.
And the thing is that this tooltip right here, fails to mention that you can get a delay.
Yeah, it was in the blog post. I had to read that when I was posting about him. So 1, poison. Poison it's mostly there for debuff count.
Like, it's 5k. It's a 5k poison. It's kind of anyways.
Double attack, triple attack down. Very useful.
50% for both of these. That's still really good.
Mm-hmm. And then the delay. So delay.
That's always good.
That is always good, except there people were one of the things that people were trying to hold against him is that his CA ends the cooldown for it instead of auto-casting it. So unlike Elea, who we talked about a couple minutes ago, if he presses this button in Belial and specifically only Belial, then he punishes your team. The one thing that he benefits from that Elea would not, if she were Earth, is that he still pressing this button chucks a lightning bolt if you have Lobelia passive out.
Thanks, Lobelia.
So, yeah.
And considering how much he gets meter in a single turn, he's gonna be the 6 turns usually does not mean 6 turns.
Yeah. So outside of Belial, in a fight like say Beelzebub or Lucilius, then he's gonna be just chucking out delays like it's going out of style.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, the rest of his kit, when you look at it, it's like, all right, so lost hit, debuff resist down stackable, chance hit to accuracy. Once again, single hit only on lost hit. And then misdirection is his answer to predictable AoE from things like Chaos Caliber in Beelzebub or Paradise Lost in certain Axion Apocalypses or whatever in Lucilius. He dodges all on an 8-turn cooldown. This is the exact same button that Christmas Nemone has.
And it's a 2 times, so it stays until it's consumed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Christmas Nemone has that button also, and it's very good on her. You know?
She also technically has an into hiding effect.
She has a MC subs for me permanently effect, yeah. It's very similar mechanically. Effectively. So, like, putting all of this together, right? What he's going to be doing is chucking out exclusion every 2 to 3 turns. Delaying on those 2 to 3 turns, trying very hard not to get hit, which is it's very difficult to him as long as you to hit him as long as you manage misdirection. And then he'll have the minor utility beyond the sheer number of delays he throws out of having debuff resist down and accuracy down. Like what he does not work with, as mentioned. He does not work with World Ender or supplemental damage very well.
He works with arts though. At least
he does work with arts. He has they did a very rare thing with him. So Skull kept his attack sharply increased from his SR kit into his SSR with Belurga. Jamil did not. They decided to go a completely different direction with him. He is essentially like he's kind of like an artillery support character, basically.
I mean, technically, the other Jamil, the dark one, doesn't have that debuff either.
Right. So. Only the Earth one has it, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And so they tried something different. He hides in the shadows. He throws daggers, and um, while he's not necessarily as instantly plug into two specific and very common fights as Elea was. Like there are ways to use this. The
Oh
one of
yeah,
the
definitely.
Yeah, one of the problems is it's like Whamdis, for example, has a lot of AOE, and um, so against Whamdis, he's not necessarily very good. That's a very common fight. Against Europa, he's totally fine. A lot of characters are great against Europa. Um, Against Beelzebub and Blucilius, quite good. Against Belial, actively detrimental. Um,
I'm trying to think like the only thing that can actually hit him in what's it called in Lucilius is Paradise Lost, right?
and one
Oh
of
yeah,
the
Apple.
Axions, I believe.
The other one would be yeah, one of the Axions, and also when the wings do an CA.
Hmm. And so um, he, I think that this is fine. Like I think people really overreacted on day one. Um, he's definitely not a full auto character, like because he's just so prone to being taken out by AOE. Like once again, we saw a bunch of AOE stuff from a lot of the fights that you would just full auto and walk away from. And so you have to sort of micromanage him a little bit. You don't have to, but it makes him a lot better if you do so.
Yeah, I think he's fine though.
Yeah, I think that this is like while not clearly instant plug in, like I said, I think that this is really interesting. There's a lot of play here. So that's what I have to say about Jamil. Congratulations to Zaki to getting out of SR Hell after I think he first asked for SSR Jamil like 2020, 2019, back when back when he stirred up some shit by trying to make Carnival Phantasm Granblue Fantasy.
Was that 20? I thought that was 2020.
Was it 2020? Oh, okay.
Pretty sure it's 2020.
Yeah, because
That's
he
like the end of it.
yeah he works with Psy Games a lot, but he just doesn't appear on their stuff like he does with Fate Go stuff. And so KMR was
I mean,
like,
he's the main character if they go. So
mhm. Well, he's also like a dedicated FGO player. Like he will publicly show people his account and then roll with his own money for himself.
also true.
And so he will show up in his own character's cosplay for Fate Go streams and stuff like that. Like he also appeared in Shadowverse stuff, but he's not really a GBF regular. It's just that KMR knows him, and KMR and he can like joke back and forth.
That's healthy. That's very healthy.
It's a healthy thing. But yeah, for 2 years he was just like, hey, Jamil's still at SR. I'm right here. You've called me in for Shadowverse recordings. Can I come in and anything that involves Jamil? I'm here. I'm here for you. No rainbow, right? Yeah. So
Like
anyway,
I'm now waiting for a tire to be an SSR and not be Nectar.
that's fair. Uh, we're waiting on Ryan. Let's see, Alec, who did just get an outfit. Like, there's a few in there. Anna got out. Um, let's leave Ezra Crane in jail. Rosine could stand to get out.
Your grandma with the gun.
Do you remember Karen? I remember Karen.
I
Anyway,
do. We had an event with her.
yeah, Poacher's Day.
Yeah, it was like one last ones where we had to like do certain like dialogues.
That's true. All right. Anyway, we'll talk about that another time. But those are the three new character updates. We got to move on so that we can actually try and get to sleep tonight.